As we say hello and welcome to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway here for the Season 7 of the Senda Motors Truck Series here from, once again, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado. Alongside, once again up here in the HVTV booth, we have Gavin Austin up here alongside with me in the booth. And obviously, Gavin, a track we're very familiar with here in Hampton, Georgia, but kind of a configuration that we haven't seen in a couple of years. A crowd favorite nonetheless, but we come to Old Atlanta here for week number 7.
Yeah, this, old pavement, I think it's going to be very entertaining. Obviously, it's not, what it is basically today, where it's kind of like a super speedway racing. I think it's about near full throttle with these trucks here, but it's not at that point, and we'll see a bunch of tire fall off throughout this race. And I think it's going to be very fun, a fun race, and I'm hoping we get some green flag laps in and see some strategy involved.
Now we come to the the Old Atlanta Speedway, if you want to call it that, here, where this is probably the only mile and a half that these drivers will come to that will have this much tire fall off at a traditional kind of a mile and a half. Obviously, we go to Darlington some throughout the schedule, and that's kind of another tire wear management kind of race, but that has its own unique shape. It's kind of completely different than the traditional mile and a half here. But we come to Atlanta, where back in the Gen 6 days, back in the older days before Atlanta got reconfigured into Echo Park, right? It used to put on some electrifying racing, and obviously, really, you talked about that, Gavin. At the end of these runs, the tire wear is going to start to show, and the handling of these trucks are definitely going to start to go away here as we run laps here if we get a green flag run tonight.
Yeah, and honestly, I hope, and I'm expecting some drivers to also hope that we get some long green flag runs in, because some who are good with the long runs, they'll stand out the most, I think, tonight. And I think that'll be entertaining to see some strategy involved, and I'd like to see some green flag pit stops and see when these drivers decide to come down pit road. And the new Atlanta, they have I should say the repaved Atlanta, they have the pit entrance in turn 3, but here with the old Atlanta, you get to enter right down out of 4, so it's a bit different than what we see current day.
You see right there, it's just a traditional pit entry that we see at most mile and a half. So obviously they made it that way for New Atlanta because it's kind of a super speedway style thing, and it can be pretty dangerous when you're going full throttle. They used to have it for the first year that it was just like another normal mile and a half, and you saw a lot of accidents happen because you're seeing a lot of trucks go from 180 plus mile an hour down to 60 or 55, whatever the speed the pit road limit is here, and it was causing some havoc here. But obviously you see here on the left side of your screen the generic kind of pit road that you see at a traditional mile and a half. And obviously we talked about the tire wear. I'm expecting to see, if we do get a long green flag run, maybe some stringing out, and some potential guys who might be aggressive to go to the front will start to maybe have to hold on here and try to hold on to the tires, versus some of these guys who save tires who might slowly but surely work their way up towards the front here with a long green flag run.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not exactly sure what the fuel mileage is looking like, but if they can make it around, I'm expecting around 40 laps, they'll be around a 2-stop race. But of course a yellow could possibly extend that to a 1-stop race. And I don't know, with these tire fall-offs, you might have to pit, more than once with how bad these tires are anyways at times. So it's going to be interesting. I think we're expecting to see a lot of strategy, kind of like what we saw last week. Obviously last week was filled with a bunch of cautions, but we saw some guys staying out on older tires when some guys would come down and take new. And they were actually doing a decent job at holding off the guys on new tires, and I think it's gonna be a bit different tonight. But so I'd love to see how these guys handle some strategy.
No, I definitely agree, and I think if we can get these green flag runs, that's going to be the ultimate decision of how this race is going to go. Obviously, Old Atlanta, not an easy track to get around here, especially if we do get these older tires underway here. And obviously, the cold tires on these trucks too that we've seen here recently can make it a little bit difficult, especially on this wore out abrasive racetrack. But obviously, I feel like fuel mileage is going to be something we can talk about later on in the race tonight. But just 4 minutes on the dot here. I think we should kind of talk about our point standings just a little bit here coming into Atlanta. We see Henry Kalhoff leading the points there in a really good season here for that number 63 machine. Tyler Helms, P2, your last season's champion. Not surprised to see that in any way, shape, or form. Tyler Helms back there, the P2. Kai Collingwood back in P3. He's had a definitely an up and down first 7 weeks of, this week 7, season 7 campaign, but he's back there in P3. Chase Smith, Zachary Chavino, your top 5, and then rounding out the first 8 here in the above the cutoff, Travis Prather, Jacob Bryant, and Kovnat, who had a good run last week.
One thing I want to mention, the person who is 10th in point right outside the cutoff, Trenton Wilkin, is fastest in practice right now. He may have some speed tonight, might have a good chance at putting this in victory lane. And the guy who's currently sitting in 8th, Aaron Kovnat, actually got his wisdom teeth taken out earlier today. So, he was talking to the guys during practice and mentioning it, and, he says he feels all right, but we know that medicine can help that out a bit. So I'm excited to see, if how he's gonna do tonight. I'm expecting him to do good, but you never know. Obviously, I know some people who have raced right after wisdom teeth surgery, and they've even won. So it's, I wouldn't count him out tonight at winning, even though he, just got surgery.
Yeah, and for Aaron, he's one of those drivers who are pretty decent at saving those tires, right? So this kind of track kind of falls into his wheelhouse. But yeah, looking back, you talked about Trent Wilkins top of the board here. He's shown a lot of speed everywhere we go here. Just has not had the luck when it comes to the finishing positions, right? And that's, bumped him outside the top 8 here. But he's shown a lot of speed here. I feel like this is a track that he could potentially break through, get that first win, potentially put himself in that fast 8 there coming out of Atlanta.
Yeah, right now in practice, he is doing a bit of a long run testing, trying to see the tire fall off, and just kind of practicing long runs. And he was in, a little pack towards the beginning, running with a pack, but now he's kind of mostly by himself. Got a few cars behind him, but clean air in front of him, and he's just, trying to figure out these old tires as he's now side by side.
You see the 13 right there, I believe. Gavin Smith. I'm going to get him and Chase Smith mixed up every week here, I feel like. But that's Gavin Smith in the 13. That TH Designs Brett Green and white machine. But, yeah, I think that's a good idea for Trent, right? If he knows he's got that long short run speed, obviously he has the fastest lap in practice. He knows how to run a quick lap. I think the long run speed will hopefully pay off here. As we see right now how difficult it is to get down pit road here. Trent Wilkins sliding. You see that's Colby Duckworth, I believe, in the 33, sliding down pit road as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for these drivers to get down on speed. And I think, if we do get to that long run, I think we're going to see some drivers struggle. And whether they, spin coming down pit road, or if they, come down pit road too fast to get a speeding penalty, it's definitely going to be interesting. But just under a minute left in practice, we see a few more trucks getting their last couple laps in. And we're going to get off to single car qualifying.
Yeah, the 71 of Jason Hall, he had a good strategy call last week from Gateway. Was able to hold on to a top 5 finish. And obviously, I feel like strategy is going to be a key part of this race as well here. Hopefully not due to a caution fest, but hopefully due to, just how the tires are going to wear and how abrasive they can be. I'm excited to see maybe some comers and goers throughout the field tonight, but as Gavin said, time ticking down here in practice here, and we'll get ready to get into qualifying here. Trenton Wilkins still top of the board, but the 19 of Jose Lopez in that number 19 machine. Back there in P2, only 3, just about half of a tenth slower there. Good practice for this number 19 team.
No practice coming to a close now, and we'll see these guys battle out for that top position in qualifying. And I think it's going to be close between some of these drivers. A lot of these laps had a bit of draft, some of them didn't. So think it's going to be a bit closer than what some of the laps are in practice, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
No, I definitely agree. And this is where you're going to really start to see maybe the guys who are going to be good on these short runs off the fire off speed because, well, this track is not easy to just get a lot out of the truck. You really need to know the way the truck needs to go and how it needs to drive to be quick here. So you'll start to see some of these, I would say like short run merchants, if you want to call it, probably up here and have a good qualifying lap here. But right now, looking at uh, post wisdom teeth version of Aaron Kovnat out on track here. This number 91 machine, one of the first trucks out on track.
I'm not 100% sure if it's first or second lap, but I'm expecting some drivers to possibly go for first or second, so I think we'll see a bit of a mixture here. But Aaron Kovnat obviously running that top lane on his out lap, and as he takes to the line to start his first lap, we'll see what he does here.
You'll see some.
Looks to be running the top, so putting two together, I think it's going to go first, second.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair case here. Granted, I know that you can run that top side here, get some pace out of it. I'm still going to agree with you, Gavin, here that I'm pretty sure it's going to be second lap here for the 91 machine. But see right there, you see the inputs there. I mean, he's really babying it around the top there. You're not even seeing him fully in the gas around the whole place here. But across the stripe, he'll go right now. Jason Hall currently pole. Aaron Kovnat, P2. Obviously, he's kind of a get up to speed lap for him. You'll see him run that middle lane here through 1 and 2.
I saw a bunch of different approaches during practice. Some people were running that middle line. Some people were running down on that white line. I'm questioning, the difference on what the speed might be. Obviously, we see Aaron. I think he feels a little bit more comfortable above that seam. Coming out of turn 4 now to finish his lap. We're going to see where this lap puts him, as he's currently sitting 3rd place. This lap will be a 31-1, and he'll go on the top of the board, P1.
Yeah, definitely an improvement for the 91 there. Top of the board for the 91. Now here comes Kenneth Laura. Chase George top of the board. And that number 6 machine.
Chase George, he's happy. He wants this pole to stick. And right as I say that, Carmelo, the number 60 machine, goes right in front of him with a 31.062.
Tyler Helms across the board.
Champion. Tyler Helms.
He's starting his first time lap here. You see Tyler, he's going to go to that middle first lap here, down to the bottom, a little bit of a wide arc. So looks like Tyler going to try to use both laps maybe to get a good lap here. We're unsure, but looks like he's going for it here on this first lap.
Got a bit loose there on entry and actually scrubbed off a lot of speed. This might affect his second lap. Still on the top of the board is Carmelo, but we'll see if Tyler Helms has anything to possibly stop that. As he starts his second lap, we're going to see him take a different approach from Aaron. We saw earlier he's running that bottom white line.
Yeah, if you
trying to carry as much speed off as he can out of turn 2.
Yeah, if you can hold on it on the bottom and carry that speed down there, wrap that line and get the grip on that grip strip there on the paint, you can make it work. You'll see him run the bottom once again here. He is in the green here, about 5/10 quicker, now 4, now 3. As he's starting, he did run the top there that first lap, so we'll see where this kind of goes back to. P11.
Inside the top 10.
Yeah, just right outside the top 10. I don't think that's a lap that he wanted either, but it's what he's going to get. So looks like Trenton Wilkins, it showed him 29th. And this is his second lap, I guess, so I guess this will probably be his flyer lap, so we'll have to see what he's doing here. But needs a good lap out of the 17 truck.
Quickest in practice. Trying to go quickest in qualifying out of turn 4. On his second lap, Trent Wilkins, number 17 machine.
31.15.
Will go P13. Obviously not probably where he wanted to qualify. Right behind Tyler Helms. Tyler Helms, I think, lost a lot of speed on his first lap, entering turn 3. Scrubbed off a lot of speed getting loose there, but still on the top of the board right now, Carmelo, and I don't believe actually we have Kai Collymore on the track for his second lap right now. He actually gets a big wiggle in turn 2. Definitely scrubbing off some speed here, but we're going to see where this puts him.
Yeah, he'll definitely have enough time to get back to the line. This is going to be his one and only lap here. He might have grabbed the wall there or something that first lap. So one and only. He's got one chance to do it before Kai will go P21 in the number 39. Well, not the lap he wants, but you see practice getting qualifying underway. It's going to be Carmelo Echeverria and Jose Lopez. You know, second in practice, now second in qualifying.
Yeah, and right behind them, I mean, Chase George, that's a huge starting position for him. I know he needs as much points as he can. Um, obviously he's sitting 14th right now, not inside the chase. He's been up front some races. At Daytona we saw him leading laps. And has had good races after that, just hasn't had, winning speed just quite yet. And obviously, qualifying third, and I'm excited to see what he'll be able to do this race. Do how he's gonna be able to, do this race. And he's I think one of the guys who are better on the short run. I don't expect him to be up front if we do get a long run, but it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what Chase George does.
Yeah, the track position is going to be key for that sixth machine. That at least I would say stay inside the top 10. But let's go ahead and get our starting lineup here. We got a lot of drivers tonight. 34 trucks strong tonight. Carmelo Echeverria in the 60 going to be your pole alongside Jose Lopez. We documented him. Good lap for him in that number 19 machine. Chase George back in the sixth machine. He'll be P3 alongside Y Youngblood in the 37. P5 will go to Chase Smith alongside Calvin Harvey in that number 98 machine. Kenneth Orr back there in P7 alongside Travis Prather, and rounding out the top 10 tonight, Henry Calhoff, your points leader, Max Ford in the 11.
Heading into row 6, right behind them, we got Kylan Wilson and last season's champ Tyler Helms. Behind them in row 7, we got Trenton Wilkin, who was fastest in practice, just did not get the qualifying lap he wanted, right next to Aaron Cobnut, who's fresh out of surgery. Behind them, row 8, we got Patricia Kusada, who we saw at Daytona actually running really well, and besides her, Kobe Duckworth, who also raced well at Daytona. Row 9, Brady Schreckengast and Carter McMillan. Behind them in row 10, we got Jason Hall and Aiden Curett.
Right outside the top 20, Kai Collymore in that number 39 machine. Gavin Smith in the number 13 back there in P21. P22, my apologies. Joey Beck in the 77, first time here, I believe, in Season 7 racing with us. Back there, right beside DJ Lyon, rounding out that row 12. You see Riley Ibanez, Jacob Bryant back there, 20. Rounding out row 13, Kendorian Davis, Joseph Enright, row 14. Jared Spaniel, Kevin Belcher back there, row 15. See George Purifies, Christian Zarati. And further on back, you see everybody else setting out a lap here for tonight's race. But Gavin, 100 laps here. Looking at the race weather, 75-degree track temp. Air temp. I saw 105-degree track temp tonight with a little bit of wind, mostly cloud out here, but 105-degree track temp. That's going to be definitely a talking point tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a talking point indeed. And another person I want to mention, Kenneth Laura, making his second start of the season. I believe he started earlier at Daytona. Obviously racing tonight. At Daytona, he was involved in some wrecks earlier on. Probably hoping for a better outcome tonight. But he's, again, starting right out there inside the top 10 and 7th.
There's Kenny.
As he's actually looks to be getting an EOL penalty. I don't think he has the right contingencies on that number 78 truck. Or the right number, as he's set 32, so he'll go back to the rear of the field for tonight's race. As we're just talking about him, it was a good starting position, and to the rear he goes.
Well, I think he had that same issue at Daytona as well.
I believe he did. Yeah.
This league's pretty strict on, they want the contigs on, represent to have every truck uniform, just like you see in real life with the Craftsman Truck Series, right? They're not gonna, NASCAR's not gonna allow a truck to show up with the wrong banner and the wrong, required logos on their truck. Same thing with UIS. So that's a big no-no if you'd show up with not only the wrong banners, but also the wrong truck with the wrong numbers. So obviously Kenny will go to the back there. You see, I see some more drivers down there. Jared Spaniel, Kevin Belcher, George Curified's back there, also getting an EOL.
Yeah, lots of drivers get an EOL, and you would think, second penalty of the season for Kenny Laura. He might have remembered registering for the session, but obviously not. And I expect these drivers to know by next time, because obviously some of them qualified really good. But the pace truck lights are off. Carmelo Echeverria and Jose Lopez are going to lead us to the green flag to start off tonight's race here at Atlanta.
Yeah, week number 7 here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll see if the pace truck will actually take the hard left turn on the pit road. See if we can hand this race over to Barney the flagman. We go one more lap here under pacing.
Yeah, it's got to be, I don't know if it's like a bug with the new update or what, but pace truck lights are off. I kind of expected them to go green there.
Well, I felt like we've had this issue before this new update as well with the pace truck not wanting to continue to lead some laps here at the start of each race, right? We usually pace for what, almost 2, 3, 4 laps here before the pace truck decides to pull in. I don't know if obviously I can't really see this up in the booth, if maybe race control is delaying the green, or if there is clearly a bug here with the league and the way they set it up, because I've never seen this outside of UIS here where the pace truck just does not want to go down pit road here after, you know, that first out lap.
I think the pace truck will have many opportunities tonight to lead some laps, so I think he should take that truck down pit road so we can get at least some racing in before he'll come back out, you know?
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some laps under our belt here, and then we'll see the virtual pace truck potentially come back out here. Hopefully not, but that's all we can pray for. We'll see now. I do hear everybody starting to rev up here. It's the pace truck, it sounds like, we'll take the hard left turn down pit road as we will. We'll hand this race back over to Barney the flagman. 34 trucks strong. Carmelo Echeverria back to green here to start week number 7. Back across the stripe. Lopez to the point here. You could have cleared your first lap here from Atlanta. He takes the first place spot away. Chase George up the P2.
Yeah, lots of contact on that first lap was behind them, and still looking 3 wide back there behind them between multiple trucks. Carmelo, our pole sitter, all the way back to 4th right now, trying to hold off that position going into turn 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, he's stuck on that top side, just trying to hold on here. Now, obviously, you can make the top because, oh, you see the 8 in the middle. That's Prather, really sideways middle. Now they're going to go 4 wide down the front stretch.
Looking 4 wide, back 3, now looking back 2 here in turn 3 and 4, but going through the middle, it is Max Ward trying to get as much track position as he can, as he started 10th and he's looking for more.
Yeah, Max Ford up to P6 after starting back there in P10, trying to get that track position back up. We know he's quick. We know, obviously, you see, he didn't have the qualifying lap that he wanted in that number 11 machine. Trying to make up the spots here. Now you look him see to the inside of the 60 of Echeverria. Echeverria dropping fast here through the field.
Now we're side by side for the lead going into turn 1. Chase George on the bottom trying to get some laps led here at Atlanta tonight. He's looking to get his first win of the season. Still side by side, and Jose ripping the top is going to get the run on the exit of turn 2. Looking to clear the 6, he does. Jose clears Chase George. As we have a wreck in the back, number 8 machine, Travis Prather, nearly up and over. Looks to be a single car spin, now stuck on the bottom of turn 3. Travis Prather, damage doesn't look too severe, but running up front, I believe inside the top 10 when that incident occurred, and now he's going to be all the way back here early on in this race.
We saw Prather having some issues from this drop of the green flag here. Having a lot of issues with stability, and that is the 97, I believe. Gets into the 15. The 15 kind of gets into the quarter panel of the 8 there. So that wasn't... And all started with the 87. I thought that was a 97. I believe that's the 87 machine. We can find who that driver is. And that signal machine. You see him, he'll clip the 15 of Tyler Helms. Tyler Helms will just hook the 8. Nothing that Tyler really could have done there. I mean, that's just the way physics work there. If you get hooked up the track, and there's a truck up there, that truck on the top's going to get hooked down the track. So nothing that Prather did wrong there, just wrong place, wrong time.
Travis Prather did do an incredible job locking that truck down to try to, stay away from as much damage as possible. He didn't hit anything besides, that contact with Tyler Helms. The damage doesn't look severe, or even to be little to no damage actually on that 8 machine. So he's definitely gonna have to put some fresh tires on that truck and try to work his way up through the field. But luckily, again, we are early on in this race, and he has plenty of time to do so.
You talk about tires. I'm not sure how many tires these drivers get, but with how the tire wear is going to be throughout the whole race, those tires are going to be a premium, right? And the fact that Prather might have to come down and take those now, that's a huge hurt for any driver who, for the most part, is probably going to try to save these sets as long as they can.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see these drivers work through this. They have 4 tires tonight, 5 counting their starting tires. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I think they got enough tires. I wouldn't shock me if Travis took tires there. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't get a good look at it, if he took tires or not, but wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be the only reason he needed to come down pit road. I didn't really see any damage on that number 8 machine as he locked it. Like you mentioned, Gavin did a good job locking it down there once he got around here on the apron. So I think the only thing he'd really need is tires. Maybe he might have just came down to make sure he didn't have damage, but I didn't really see any on that number 8 machine. But regardless, caution out here for the first time here at Atlanta. Henry Kalhoff up inside the top 3, but you'll still see Chase George, Jose Lopez still that top 2.
Yeah, and Chase George, we know he wants to win here tonight. You know he just wants to win in general anywhere, but he is putting on a show. Obviously, he was trying to get up to the lead, just wasn't able to do so as the top line is, obviously dominant when you're side by side in the corner. And now he's starting on the top. We're gonna see if, he gets a strong restart. He just needs to time it well and try to be side by side and side draft the 19 through corner 1 and 2. And I think we'll have a good shot at passing him on the backstretch or out of turn 4.
Yeah, with Atlanta, you can really use, the bottom potentially to almost kind of do a slide job. We've seen it here before with how abrasive the track is, where you have to really, especially on the long run, if we get one, you can really, drive it in there and just try to clear up and try to just take the air away. We'll see if Chase is willing to do that early here or if he's willing to just try to hope for something to happen. But regardless, you once again see the pace car take another hard left turn down pit road. It's going to be Lopez, George, Kalhoff forward. Back to the stripe, back green.
Yeah, great start by Jose. Chase actually still sliding his tires. Finally gets it straight, but he's going to lose not second, but still side. But now he's side by side for third.
Oh, you see him still sliding that rear end around. Help from Max Ford, it looks like. Trying to get him out and going. You saw him sliding around. Here comes Wyatt Youngblood up to P3. Here comes the 17 of Jaden Wilkins.
Chase George around, locks it up. Looks to be safe as it is. Everybody up front is good too, and that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah.
But very disappointing to see that happen. Obviously Chase George very fast and is gonna have to work his way back up through the field.
And that was a really bad net code too. From the 11 to Max Ford. I don't even think he technically made contact there. We'll go from a different angle up here, maybe from the skybox here on our chopper here. I didn't see no contact. Unfortunately, iRacing got us there. And honestly, I don't know if they have a race control up in the booth or if that was iRacing that called that, but he did a good job saving that. I don't know if that should have been a caution, but regardless, caution's already out. We can't undo the caution, so we will stack everybody back up one more time.
Still out up front though, Jose leading strong in that number 19 machine. Guys started all the way back in 9th. Henry Kalhoff up to 2nd place in that number 63 machine. Henry, our points leader, looking for another solid finish tonight to try to extend that points gap even more between him and Tyler Helms. Between them, it's currently a 5-point gap. He wants to extend it a little bit more, and I don't blame him one bit. Yeah. But Tyler Helms still strong there, still inside the top 10 or top 5, sorry, after starting 12.
And Henry's had a really quiet season. He's been consistently a top 5 driver, but he hasn't, been the flashiest or the most fastest driver. But with the way the chase works now, you don't have to be that, right? You look at Matt Kenseth, you look at what some other drivers have done in the past there in that chase format, And that's exactly what Henry's doing here in this number 63 machine. You know, he's quick. We'll say that. He's really quick. You know, that's why he was a thumbnail last week at Gateway. But he's consistently quick. He's not up there putting himself in a bad spot. He's just there to get the best finish he can. And that's how you put yourself in a position to win championships here. But someone else I want to talk about who's up several spots is back here, the 17 of Trent Wilkins, up 9 spots from that I believe 15 spot, P13 spot, I believe, up to P4.
Yeah, obviously we saw he was quickest in practice, had speed to get it done, just didn't get a good qualifying lap in. But he's obviously already showing his speed tonight. And he wants to get up front and lead some laps tonight. Again, I don't blame these guys one bit for trying to get to that lead. And it's going to be interesting, like we were talking about, Henry Koloff in second, obviously leading points. The point standings, he still does not have a win this season. He's looking for his first win this season. We know he wants it. You know, that'll help him extend his points lead even more, but you know, he's currently sitting 31 points above the cut line, but you know, a win would make that a lot more, and you know, it'd mean a lot to him.
Yeah, I think obviously winning is everything for all these drivers, and getting a win, because obviously leading the points, you're like, okay, like he's ran well, but actually getting out and getting that win, right, it shows, okay, like I can get up there, I can be competitive, I can win races, right? Because a lot of people will put an asterisk, you know, next to some people's names when they're that good but haven't got that win yet. So I think Henry definitely has the speed here, and I definitely think, you know, we talk about some of these patient drivers who are good on the tires. This is a Kalhoff track, right? You know, this is one of the tracks where I would say he's going to be good at, right? At, you know, keeping the truck underneath him, keeping the tires underneath him, saving his tires, being up there at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 63 can do with the track position.
Pace truck hard left on the pit road. It'll be a Toyota Chevy front positions as they're going to lead us to the green flag. Jose, great jump once again. But Henry Koloff now side by side for second, heading into 1 and 2.
A young blood on the bottom. He's been able to jump spots every time here on that bottom side. Going to clear the 63 of Kalhoff. And now looking for the lead from the 19 here. Will he look inside? He will. Here comes the 37. Wyatt Youngblood side by side, 2 through 3.
Wyatt Youngblood trying to get the lead early on. He has last season's champion driver right behind him, Tyler Helms, but 2 strong drivers on his outside between Jose and Henry Koloff. Still side by side coming to the line. The 37 is going to lead this lap and try to keep the lead heading into turn 1.
Everybody's sliding around here on these first couple laps here. You see everybody's just rear end, yawn out. And now you see that 19, everybody's sideways.
Even more contact between Wilkins
is going to save it.
Straight for the Aaron Kovnat does not, and he's going to collect another driver, and they're going to go into the inside. Well, as more drivers are wrecking into the back. Oh my goodness. We are still green. Kendorian Davis, George
There's a parking lot down here.
And Carter McMillan. Holy cow. Multiple fast trucks involved. I mean, that is just ridiculous. That was like 3 separate wrecks that just happened.
First, we'll look at the 17, I guess. That's where this all kind of started at. We'll have to go back a couple of seconds here to see if we can find a good camera angle for what happened here. But this is, I mean, this happened the wreck took so long that Trent Wilkins already had his issues and was already out of the track here. So Trent Wilkins here in the 17. Looking middle three. Contact with Max Ford. And that contact was just enough to get him going around there. And then we'll pause the camera here. Go back to Aaron Kovnat. I think he checked up seeing the 17 around. Oh, as we went back live. This is going to be unbelievable. We'll go back here, see if we can find the replay here. Here we go. So we'll look back here on Kovnat. You'll see the 17 getting ready to go around here. The 91 just kind of gets bumped by the 13. Gavin Smith, Chase George involved there. Just to check up, and I don't think the 13 knew that they were wrecking. And then you saw the 24. Another wreck here. And we'll go on board here with the 24 of Carter McMillan. So they're wrecking up here. And then he just gets turned around by someone behind him as well. So 3 separate wrecks here. Looks like that's Kendorian Davis in the 1 back there. And then it gets tattooed by the 34. Wow. 3 separate wrecks here, Gavin, here on lap number 14.
Yeah, hopefully we get these wrecks out of the way early on, and you know we can see some green flag runs now. I mean, these drivers, that is just, I mean, crazy. Something we honestly don't expect coming, you know, to obviously Atlanta, you know, but older Atlanta. You know, it's a big one like that early on and 3 separate wrecks. But back up front, Wyatt Youngblood still leading with last season's champion Tyler Helms on his outside, be a Toyota Chevy front row, and a Chevy Toyota right behind them.
I'm interested to see if that 6 actually made it out in time. Chase, I don't know. He might get a black there. I don't know if he got out and beat the pace car, but, or at the very least, he might have exited pit road. Because I know that you could technically beat the pace car out, but pit road closes really early compared to when the pace car gets around. So I'm interested to see if the 6 gets a penalty there. But yeah, I agree with you, Gavin. Hopefully the cautions can get under, can calm themselves down. But obviously, you think about how many cautions we've got. Sooner or later, it's going to start dropping drivers out, right? No fast repairs here in the Senate Motors Truck Series, right? So, you know, at some point, there's going to be some drivers who just cannot fix those trucks enough, and they're going to have to call the night here early from Atlanta.
Yeah, and the admins actually, race control decided to extend this yellow 1 more lap as we're not going to go green this time. I'm not sure if they're just trying to get penalties taken care of or what, because obviously, you know, 3 separate incidents, I got to take a look at it and figure out the cause and make sure they, you know, penalize the right drivers and, you know, make sure it's a fair, you know, penalty, whether they, if they do penalize them or not. But obviously not, we didn't go green here, but, you know, maybe, hopefully we'll go green this lap.
And I'll say this, obviously they're tracking penalties and stuff. That's the second caution that Max Ford has been a part of. If they're actually tracking and giving incidents and stuff, that one with Chase George, I wouldn't call him, right? That was net code. But this one, he definitely made contact with the 17 and sent him around, which kind of caused that whole accordion effect, which caused, you know, a second spring of cautions behind them. So if they are going to give penalties, you know, I'm interested to see if there's a rule for how many cautions you can cause before you're asked to park the car, right? I don't know if it's like a 3 and out rule or if it's like a, you know, a EOL, then a drive-through, then a 1 lap hold, then a disqualification. I'm interested to see if we get to that, if some drivers are going to start getting kicked.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. One driver who's made himself up into the top 10 is Gavin Smith. He started all the way back in 22nd. He's already moving his way up through the field. Obviously, I think those wrecks helped a little bit, but he's trying to get up to the front of this pack as we're going to get going green this time. Pace truck hard left on the pit road. Wyatt Youngblood is going to lead us back to the green flag once again here at Atlanta. That inside line is just once again super strong on these restarts.
I think the top side, that's probably the best jump the top has gotten with Helms there. He'll actually get clear for P2 in front of Calhoff. I don't know, maybe Calhoff gave him the spot there. Once again, Henry has been very passive here on the starts here, trying to keep those hard underneath him, because we saw almost every truck here yawing it out here, trying to get up to the front here. Now battle for the lead. See Helms on the bottom, Youngblood on the top. Youngblood not going to give this up easy. Run off the top, side by side at the line.
Wyatt Youngblood leads this lap, still side by side, heading into 1 and 2 between him and Tyler Helms, and right behind them, Henry Koloff, who's hungry for his first win, looking for the lead. But we are under yellow flag once again as we have a wreck on the front stretch.
Riley
Ibanez, the number 90 machine. Carter McMillan involved. This is just crazy. I mean, I don't even think we've gone 2 laps green yet. Like, it's I don't even think we've had a 2-lap green flag run.
There was like a huge checkup in front of him.
Looked like he was avoiding a slow car on the inside.
Yeah, we'll have to ride on board with him. It looked like there was like some type of huge checkup here in front of him.
Someone off of Max Ford's front bumper again got turned. they were able to save it. I think he was avoiding that truck and
And you
just was not clear and overcorrected into the wall. That was the 81 machine.
Yeah.
He got one off the nose of Max Ford.
Man. Well, we talked about it. The aggressiveness in Max Ford. We know he's an aggressive driver, but I mean, you got to keep it off, you know, the other trucks here. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to sit around and pace for the whole race. We don't want to call a race that is under caution the whole time. You know, we've had a slew of races already this season that have been kind of this way. You know, at some point, you know, I don't know if there's a penalty system in place to penalize drivers who are continuing to cause cautions, but Max Ford's top of the board here. 3 for 3 here for cautions tonight.
If they don't, I think they should involve that. Whether, you know, it's maybe they get, you know, after causing a wreck one week, you know, they have that penalty point. And if they cause a week the next week or wreck the next week, then they might, you know, have to get a one race, you know, off or something like that. But, you know, definitely going to be interesting. Obviously, I think some of these drivers and all the fans at home watching this race want to see some green flag action. I know I do. Hopefully we're going to get that. But, yeah, wondering what these admins are gonna do to decide, you know, some of this stuff that's occurring.
Yeah, I mean, if you use the 3-knot rule, I would say he's on strike 2 right now. Once again, I'm not going to put the blame on him for that contact with him in the 6. Chase George, as that was, you know, net code into play there. I don't know if they would have made contact. I honestly don't remember, and good enough to know whether they would have. But oh, I see Tyler Helms mowing the lawn there. But I would say that's at least strike 2 for Max Ford there. I mean, if they're using a 3-strike system, he's got one more. The box is, you know, a full count here for Max Ford. Can't afford to get another one.
Ellie Ibanez, the truck that was involved with that heavy damage, came out of pit road. Still some pretty heavy damage on the left side, but definitely got some fixed. See how crumpled that tire really is.
And you hate it.
That left front is, I mean.
And you see some left rear as well. And you hate it for Riley because, like, I mean, you hate it for any driver who just gets kind of caught in the middle of something that he wasn't a part of, right? Riley was just trying to slow down for a wreck, and fortunately, you know, there was a truck there, you know, that ended up, you know, hooking him, getting him around there. And now he's all tore up here. Luckily, we're not even a quarter of the way through the race, so got a lot of time to get that truck fixed if we get some more cautions. Hopefully we don't, but obviously time will tell here.
White Youngblood, kind of lead us to the green flag once again, and we'll see if Tyler Helms has anything to say about it on this outside lane. But obviously the inside lane has been so strong as Tyler Helms actually gets a really good launch, still in the right rear of that 37 machine. And they're about even heading into turn 1 and 2.
And it'll be side by side going into turn 1. Who has the better line? Who has the preferred help out of turn 1 and 2 here? Still side by side. Helms with the run off the top. Going to try to clear this 37 here down the backstretch.
Chase S. Smith, who started in 5th, trying to get up to the front. He'd help the 15 get to the lead, but here comes White Youngblood once again on the inside. Chase Smith looking 3 wide on the outside of the 15, but the 15's going to slide up right in front of him. And the 15 machine of Tyler Helms is going to lead this lap.
Tyler Helms gets clear, drops to the bottom. Now it'll be Chase Smith on the top. So a little bit of a block there. Tyler Helms back to the bottom. And I want to say this, like, if you're up front, well, what's the plan here? Do you just have to use your stuff up to try to stay up here? Or do you kind of start to save while you have the track position? Because I feel like if you try to save, you're going to get eaten up here. You saw, I think, what Carmelo tried to do there at the start, and he almost got eaten up here. He's luckily still inside that top 5.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these drivers save much at all this race. I think they're still pushing as Henry Koloff with a big dive bomb into turn 1 and 2, now side by side for second with White Youngblood.
You'll see him side by side down the backstretch. Youngblood will clear. You still see Henry electing to use this kind of more shallow entry here, trying to save some tires here. And honestly, I don't blame some of these drivers for trying to be aggressive. We've seen a lot of cautions early. Might as well use up the tires now, but the issue is you know, you're kind of fighting
Oh,
fire.
as we have a huge hit, the 13 into the outside wall, the 38 machine. Multiple trucks involved on the entrance of turn 1.
Oh.
I see a few engines blown. Oh, and a huge hit for the, I believe, the 07 machine. Multiple fast trucks involved, and that's our second big one of the day. See, there's Kenny Laura, the 78 machine involved.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about while this crash happened. Is obviously we know these runs have been short, but these guys have been just fighting fire with fire almost, right? And because they know that there's a potential caution coming out, they're just continuing to push harder and harder instead of just, you know, settling back and trying to settle into a run. They're just trying to push and try to, you know, put people in bad spots here. And this is exactly what happens. See the 13? Off the bumper of Max Ford.
I think that is 3 strikes, you're done.
We'll take a different look at it. Maybe the 13 hooked himself or something or the other, but we'll have to see here. I mean, you see already Max all up on the rear end here.
That is... I mean, he already was pushing the 13 out of control, in my opinion. We'll, again, get a better look here and see exactly what happens, but... I mean, it's early on, not even halfway through the race. Just going for an aggressive move, I don't know. It's... I mean, already you've caused, you know, 2 incidents tonight, and just not a good look for the league or for yourself.
Obviously, I mean, we were just over a quarter of the way done with the race. Max is such a quick driver. He can get his way through the field methodically, right? He's quick, and he's up into P4 now after causing that, right? I just feel like he could be a little bit more patient with these drivers around him. Obviously, we know he's quick. We obviously know he knows how to muscle this truck around, but putting drivers in bad spots like that is not the way to do it, right? You can't, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, if you continue to race people like that, they're not going to cut you a break, right? You look at the Carson Hostfar effect almost right now in real life, right, where, you know, Carson's upsetting a lot of drivers here because he's putting his nose in places that probably shouldn't be, and just not cutting people a break there. And that you've seen Max do it all race long tonight here from Atlanta. Obviously, he qualified inside the top 10, right? And still racing like this. Obviously, he's gotten caught up in a couple incidences from his own doing. So I don't know what to really tell this driver the 11, but he just got to almost back it down a little bit, be a little bit more patient. We're not even, you know, we're barely a quarter of the way through.
What really stinks is the 3 incidents he's caused. You know, he hasn't even been close to getting the most damage out of it. All these other unfortunate trucks are just in the wrong place at the wrong time have gotten the worst of the incidents that he's caused. And you look at that number 11 truck sitting fourth with a clean truck. I'm honestly really shocked these admins haven't done anything yet, whether it's, you know, a drive-through penalty, EOL, or I don't know. Maybe they're seeing something we don't, but just a bit surprising.
I mean, I guess you could look at the wrecks individually a little bit differently than we are in the booth, but nonetheless, it's really aggressive. It's, you know, it's still kind of reckless, right, to be putting people in bad spots this early in the race, right? It's such a long time for him to make up spots here. We're coming back to 71 to go, not 11, not 15, 71 to go. Regardless, Youngblood, Kalhoff back to the green flag.
Saw some wheel spin from Wyatt Youngblood, our race leader, but able to clear both lanes, obviously, as he's back leading up front, side by side for a second between Chase Smith and Henry Kalhoff.
Kalhoff, Chase Smith, side by side here for P2. To the 11 machine, Max Ford further in the back. Gonna try to arrow push this 63 out here. Trying to get him clear for P2, and then he'll try to battle it out with the 11 machine for the P3 position. As you're gonna see him look 3 wide, 3 middle for P2.
Max Ford clears the inside driver of Chase Smith, now side by side with Henry Kalhoff, and he's gonna clear him entering turn 1 and 2 as he's now clear for second.
And clear for P2 is going to try to run down that 37 of Wyatt Youngblood, and he does have the pressure tires out of these guys. He's got about 16 lap tires on these things. Versus everybody else who haven't come down pit road, 31 laps on tires. Granted, a lot of these have been under caution, so I would say, you know, it's still fresher tires, and you can just see that with the way this truck is handling. But you're going to see this 11 start to run down to 37. Going to look to the top side through 1 and 2.
Ripping that top, looking for a run on exit. He's going to get it. Reeling in the 37 of Wyatt Youngblood. We'll see if he makes a move here on the backstretch. Entering turn 3, looking to the inside. Wyatt tries to go and cover, but he's there. Side by side for the lead. Max Ford, Wyatt Youngblood battling it out with Wyatt Youngblood on the top side.
And Wyatt using that defensive line on the top. Going to get the run off the corner. Going to clear for the race lead for now. But here comes the 18, Chase Smith, down to the bottom. He's going to make Max jump up and drive a different line here in the 1 and 2.
Huge move by Chase Smith, was not able to get it work as he washes up the track. Now he's side by side for third with Henry Culliffe, but here comes Max Ford, side by side to the inside of the 37 for the race lead, Wyatt Youngblood. Under attack by that 11, the 11 looks to be clear, entering out of the exit of turn 4. Max Ford, our new race leader here at Atlanta.
Again with the Max there, a huge send in the 3. To get clear of the 37, he'll lead his first lap suit tonight from Atlanta. Someone I want to look back at, Chase George up inside the top 6. He's driven his way back up through the field after contact with Max Ford, sending him around. As though you see him a little bit loose out of turn 2, but up here inside this top 6. Now top 5.
He's on a bit more fresher tires as well. He's trying to get up to the race lead to battle that 11 machine of Max Ford. Let's look at the 18 of Chase Smith side by side for second now. He wants to get back up to the lead with a huge wheel from a race leader, Max Ford, as now he has someone on his rear. But
he's going to hook him!
Huge wreck, huge hit. Travis Prather involved. We have the 76 involved. Multiple fast trucks, and Max Ford's race just went up in smoke like he did to a bunch of other drivers. And wow, that is unreal.
It's poetic almost if you think about it.
Had it coming.
We'll take a look at the 18 machine here, if we can find them. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I don't know if that's the way to do it either. So I get it. You know, he's roughed up a lot of people, but that looks pretty bad if you're Chase Smith, right? I mean, you just took yourself out of the race, and you just and look at Prather in the back. Nothing he could do. I mean, I'm just not a fan of like hooking someone up the track. That's all. It's just.
The trial wasn't a good place to do
it. I mean, there's different ways, right? Just go past them, right? You had the run. You could have made it side by side. I didn't really see Max block the top and put himself in a bad spot. It just looked like he hooked I wouldn't say he hooked a hard left, but definitely made some contact to get the 11 up the track there. And, I mean, Max is done. And I believe probably so is the 18.
Yeah, very unfortunate for a lot of drivers. Obviously, Max Ford outside of the cut line, outside the top 8 right now, sitting 13th, and I think this is going to affect him a bit. Actually, a ton in points. I think it's going to drop back possibly outside the top 15 in points after tonight. You know, obviously, there's some trucks that are out before him out of this race. You know, some from his own doing, so I guess that kind of has a bit of a barrier, but obviously still not, you know, good for any of the drivers involved.
And just like that, guess who's up front? Mr. Tyler Helms. He seems to always find his way through the carnage and put himself in a good spot here. And granted, you know, and someone else, and who I'm looking at now, and some of these guys did come down pit road here. It looks like 15th on back, led by Brady Schreckengoss back here in that 16 machine. They came down, took tires. Everybody else up front stayed out, right? Some of them are on a little bit fresher tires. Some of them are not. So, but granted, you know, Tyler Helms pitted that last caution. He inherits the race lead after the carnage here for the lead.
Joey Beck also inside the top 10. I believe this is his first start of the season. He's lined up 6th on the outside of Aaron Cobnott. Aaron Cobnott was involved in an incident earlier. We saw him take a decent hit inside the inside wall, but that truck looks pretty clean. You know, hopefully he's feeling up for it, and you know, feeling good, and we can see him racing up for the lead with some of these faster guys in front of him.
It'll be interesting to see how these drivers react because we kind of do have a somewhat new cast of characters up here. Obviously, Tyler Helms, Trent Wilkins, Chase George, and Lopez have been up here towards the front, but Kovnat, Beck, Hall, Echeverria, for the most part, I would say, haven't really raced inside the top 5 much this race outside of, Echeverria, taking us to the green flag. Some of these drivers have not been up here, so it's getting kind of a new cast of characters throughout this top 10.
It's going to be a Chevy front row. Tyler Helms, second in points. I believe he's part-time this season. Trying to get some more wins as he already has 2 this season. With Chase George on his outside looking for his first. They're going to lead us to the green flag. Tyler Helms, Chase George back green here at Atlanta. Chase George with a great jump as Chase George is spinning his tires. So is the 19 machine of Jose. As that was a very chaotic restart, I kind of was a bit shocked by it.
Now allowed the 17 of Wilkins. 2 for 1, almost 3 for 1 up the P2. Going to try to run down that 15 of Tyler Helms there. Same tires as the driver in front of him there. Looks like 11 lap old tires on both these trucks here. Trying to go run down your leader.
Right behind the 17 mission of Trent and Wilkin is Joey Beck. Started all the way back in 23rd. He's now sitting P3 looking for the race lead here as Trent Wilkin ripping the outside of Tyler Helms trying to get up to the front.
And Tyler's going to get clear here as the 17 super loose out of turn 2. And allow the 15 to clear. Everybody back single file here down the backstretch.
Joey Beck, big send into turn 3 on the inside of the 17, trying to get clear, but won't be able to do so as he's actually going to nearly wash up and almost make contact. But Chase George right behind them is actually also loose on the exit as they're 3 wide back there for 4th.
Now Jason Hall, top of 3, going to try to get clear here in the turn 1 and 2. Going to have to drive it into the corner. Chop the nose of the 6 now side by side with Kovnat on the 91. They keep it going for now. It's their 3 wide for them back again. That's the 87 of Kylan Wilson. Going to try to make the move.
And with these older tires, you can't. It's hard to have that grip when you pull that big of a send, and obviously we saw the contact there. Aaron Kovnat's not going to be able to hold on to Jason Hall as he's going to get clear for 4th, and Tyler Helms still under attack from the 17 machine of Trenton Wilkin out up front.
Yeah, so many battles here throughout the top 10 here, but the 17 still trying to peak at the top there. Just having issues out of turn 2 there, sliding that truck around on exit. It's allowing Tyler to keep the lead for now. 77 up in that outside wall.
Yeah, Joey Beck walled himself on entry. I think he was peeking to the outside. Obviously, just couldn't do so. Tyler Helms still running that bottom lane as everybody else is kind of ripping the top, trying to get a run on him, but they're not able to do so.
Jason Hall has caught this front 3 here. He's going to look to the inside of the 77 of Beck here. The 77 Toyota. I don't know if those are teammates or not. Obviously, the same similar kind of Spire font, but regardless, those 2 battling it out for P3.
Still in the top 5 is Aaron Kovnat. You see him ripping that top side on the outside of Henry Kaloff. I believe those are teammates side by side there for 5th. As huge hit, Jason Hall, huge hit into the outside wall in the tri-oval.
That's going to stack up the 91. Here comes Kaloff on the bottom. Going to try to take advantage of that mistake out of the 71. He's going to try to get clear out of turn 2. He barely does. There goes the 71.
Single truck spin. Will it be a yellow as we see even more carnage? 87 hard into the inside wall.
I think everybody's going to keep
still
it.
Green.
87 slow on track. I don't know if that's going to be a caution. It will be a caution.
Bit of a late caution decided by our admins. But man, I mean, we're not even just under halfway, and I believe that is our 6th caution of the race.
And that was the 37 of Youngblood getting in the back of the 87 there. And I mean, that's a tough call if you're race control there, because granted, 87, when he's like that, should have probably got off the track there instead of just sparking it there on the bottom. But you got it going back. It's a tough call. I'm not going to say I disagree with this one. But, yeah, the caution nonetheless will wave again here on lap 45.
Well, we know Tyler Helms and some of the trucks up front are on some older tires. We're just approaching halfway, and it looks like they're going to come down and get some fresh tires. Joey Beck, one of them, as we saw kind of a late decision from that 77 machine.
The 77 back down, you'll see Wilkins, you'll see Helms, you'll see some other drivers down here, downside, pit side here, trying to take some fresh Goodyear tires, and that will cycle Kalhoff back out to the lead here. So a little bit of a different strategy for some of these drivers out front here. You'll see the, was that the 7 machine, I believe?
Looks to be the 78 machine of DJ Lyon.
Yeah, you're right.
I think he's...
White Youngblood will also stay out here, and we'll look at the race off pit road. It looks like Helms will win your race off pit road, followed by Wilkins, Beck, Kovnat, and Harvey. And the number 98 machine. We haven't talked about Calvin at all tonight. Up inside the top 10 for the first time, I believe.
Working his way up through the field. Actually, he started in P7. I think he just fell back early on. Actually, I remember he was involved in an incident earlier on, but able to get that 98 machine back up inside the top 10.
Really quiet night for the 98, but this is what you want to see here. Just back into halfway, you're back inside the top 10, you know, and inside the fast fate. The Elite 8 here. Coming into, you know, just under halfway. I think that's a good spot for him. That truck looks pretty clean and green, so good recovery for Calvin and that whole 98 team. You see Youngblood, well. So the Eo Welling, the 37 for causing that one. I'm very now surprised to see. So now we're giving penalties for wrecks. I'm very, very confused, but nonetheless, back 2 by 2. Lights are off on the pace truck. 63 to 78. DJ Lyon and that number 78 machine gonna lead the top side, getting ready to go green. I'm going to be very interested to see how these two drivers up front hold on, right?
As it's going to be a Chevy Toyota front row, obviously, like you said, I am curious to see, you know, these guys on the fresh tires, see if, you know, obviously with the different tires, if they'll be able to make their way up through the field fairly quickly or not. But Henry Kulloff, DJ Lyon, we are back green here at Atlanta.
And Kalhoff, pretty good jump on the bottom, but the fresher tires of Helms already looking at the top side here through 1 and 2. Going to try to take your race lead away from Kalhoff in that 63 Fort Worth screen printing machine.
Tyler Helms ripping the top, and Joey Beck now second place as Aaron Kovnat hard into the outside wall in the entrance of 3.
Oh,
now he's loose, nearly spinning as he's going to save it and keep that truck safe.
What a
as
save.
He's still sideways, but he's going to be able to keep that truck straight. We're going to stay green as, whoa, Joey Beck blocked the hit 63 machine into the grass in the tri-oval. That could have been a scary wreck as Joey Beck's now sideways.
Oh. Trying to save it up at the outside wall. Good saves by two drivers here in these first 2 laps of this restart. But, yeah, I mean, Joey Beck, we know he's an aggressive driver. You see him back there blocking the 60. Beck Cabrera as well. Cabrera trying to be patient with him. But we know Joey Beck's very aggressive. He does not like to get past here, especially in these trucks. Going to try to hold on to it there. He's going to jump up to the top side.
Tyler Helms still leading this race, but he's under pressure from Trenton Wilkin behind. We'll see if Trenton makes a move into turn 3. Looking to the outside, we know Tyler Helms loves running that bottom lane. But he's going to be side-by-side to exit of 4, and Trenton's going to have to run on the top. We'll attempt to get clear. He's going to lead that lap, but they're still going to be side-by-side entering 1 and 2.
Yeah, Tyler, I feel like, is a lot better on the bottom here in 1 and 2 than he is in 3 and 4. Trent took advantage of that, see, and I think Trent's just not as good on the top in 1 and 2 as well. So, regardless, he's going to get clear here. the sick top here. Tyler's going to get the bottom line he wants. And look at this. Calvin Harvey up inside the fast four, looking for third.
He's trying to get up to the lead. One driver is still loose. It's Joey Beck, as now Calvin's loose, but able to keep it straight. Joey Beck has been all over the place the past few laps. He just has not been able to get that truck under control. That 77 machine, as he's ripping that top side. But here comes our pole sitter of Carmelo Echeverria, side by side for second. He's gonna, for third. He's gonna try to get up to the race lead.
DJ Lyons super loose out of 2, holds on to it. I mean, you can tell that it's hot and slick tonight here from Hampton, Georgia, because no one can keep their truck underneath them outside, really the fast four. See everybody slipping and sliding. You see the Harvey machine back there dancing around through the tri-oval.
The sun is peeking out through these clouds right now. It's a cloud cover covering the track has kind of gone away these past few laps. But Trenton Wilkin is going to clear Tyler Holmes and lead this race as they're still side by side now. Joey Beck making it 3 wide for third on the inside.
Yeah, 3 wide for P3. Everybody slipping and sliding around. You see the 10 up at the outside wall. Everybody slipping and sliding. Everybody trying to give space, but it's so hard with these trucks driving horrible right now.
Joey Beck almost thought he was clear. Wasn't clear. An incident that almost happened, but they're still 3 wide and 1 and 2.
And the 77 still can't get clear, but the 60 will get clear. That number is 78. DJ Lyon will go back to P5. It's everybody up at the outside wall. 77 clears for P3.
Very intense racing up front. I believe this is the longest green flag run we have had of the night so far, just past lap 50. Make it lap 54. As they're looking side by side, Carmelo to the inside of Joey Beck for third.
And I'm glad that the racing is starting to clean up a little bit here. We see that. I think these drivers know that the trucks don't drive very well, and it, for anybody, yet less themselves, right? And you're starting to see some space being given. You see the 3 wide, and you start to see some people be a little bit more cordial. And that's what you want to see here for these long runs, because then you're going to start to see some of the guys who use their tires start to fall to the back. You're going to start to see some of the guys who were saving their tires jump up to the front here. You look at someone like the 60 of Echeverria, right? Who is slowly but surely reeling in that 77.
Yeah, as we kind of see a 4-truck breakaway, we see that pack that are still side by side back there for 5th, kind of back there. As we see one truck sideways, Aaron Conrad also sideways, but they're going to keep it straight as we're going to stay green, and that'll kind of break up that bunch of trucks just a tiny bit, as it's kind of Trenton Wilkin pulling away from these guys a little bit.
Patricia trying to get clear. The 78 here of DJ, he'll do it. Patricia up inside the top 5. Up 10 spots from where she started.
Patricia, we saw racing really well at Daytona earlier this season as they're loose. Oh my goodness, what a save from the 10 machine.
Patricia loose. She's going to lose it, and Patricia will lose a bunch of spots there, but going to keep it going. Now this is, and I'm super happy to see this, that these guys that are sliding, they know to back it down here. Try to get a feel for the truck. Don't just try to go full bore once again here, and you see now Patricia trying to figure out what's going on with the 10 machine here as we get in at 1 and 2.
Joey Beck ripping the wall. Going to try to get the run on the exit. Trying to get up to Tyler Holmes, just not able to do so as we see a big run out of turn 2. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get there by turn 1. Just going to stay on the outside. Try to pass Tyler Holmes now. Trying to get the run off of turn 4.
Yeah, this top can work if you can do it right. And it doesn't burn the tires up as much as you think it would, because if you can get it, pointed and going straight, really, you're keeping the truck a lot more planted on the top. You'll see Trenton Wilkins. He's been doing it. Right now, here comes Joey Beck outside of the 15. But Tyler Holmes able to clear a little bit of dirty air on the 77. You see him sliding around out of 2.
Still kind of a 4-truck breakaway. You see that Ram number 60 machine of Carmelo's the last kind of truck in this 4-car pack, if you want to call it. But I mean, these front 4 drivers are kind of running all different lanes. I mean, we see Trent ripping the top, Tyler Holmes all the way on the bottom. You see Carmelo's kind of ripping the middle in some places. Joey Beck's kind of, trying everything he can to make some passes or try to get up to Tyler Holmes. It's Carmelo actually really tight in turn 1 and 2, and he's not going to be able to stay side by side with the 77 machine.
And I love that. This is why I love Atlanta, because wherever you run, it's going to wear your stuff out in a different way. Like you see the 77, He's super loose. You've seen him really sideways out of the corners. We just right on board with the 60. He's been running the bottom, and you see that right front's starting to wear out, which is hurting, you know, his center off, right? But he's not loose. You haven't seen that 60 step out that much here. And you see some other drivers who have just ran different lines in there, and there's the tires are starting to wear in a different way. You see the 17 super sideways out of turn 2. He's been someone who's been running the top side.
Yeah, this allows the two trucks behind him of Tyler Holmes and Joey Beck to gain some time. As we're going to see Tyler Holmes peek to the inside, kind of like his signature lane at this point throughout this race, is they're going to be side by side, but that top lane is just so strong on exit as they get the run down the front and back stretch, and obviously going to clear the 15. As he's really loose now here. Joey Beck's peeking to the outside. They're going to be 3 wide for the lead with Tyler Holmes on the inside. A big slide. Here comes Joey Beck on the top side. The 77 machine looking for the race lead, and he's got it. Joey Beck, our new race leader. And here comes Carmelo for third.
A 2-for-1 move from the 77 to Beck. Saw the 2 cars on the bottom. A little upset. He takes the race lead away, and you see the 60 looking at the 17 for P3. Going to try to get clear. Not quite. Going to try to squeeze him up in the outside wall, but Carmelo looking for P3.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Beck, one of the trucks we have seen, has been the most loose in this front forward kind of breakaways. We have a wreck in the back, 3 trucks involved, 1 truck nearly up and over on the backstretch. I'm curious if that's going to be a yellow. We're still green at the moment, but admins have,
Let's take a look here. That's Kovnat. Stopped on the bottom of the track here. We'll see if we can take a quick look at here while we have the time.
Yellow is now out.
The Kovnat. Just loose. Grabs the 17, grabs the 87. That's luck right there. I mean, that's the horseshoe that you need here at Atlanta. The 87 net code underneath the 91, and he gets once again grabbed by the 37. Wyatt Youngblood, where are you going? I mean,
I'm kind of curious on where he was going. That is
I mean,
very,
it almost looked like a locked on missile there. See him loose out of turn 2, but then you just see.
I mean, all he's got to do is keep the truck straight. That is really.
The only thing I could think of is you see the 91 start to back it up the track just a little tiny bit, right? But then you see him stop, right? You see him, he starts to back up right about here, and maybe he panics and says, oh shoot, he's backing it up the track. That's the only thing I can think. But once again, you see right about here is when he stops. He's already turned down the track. I don't know, right? I just think it was a kind of a lack of judgment of where he needed to go there for the 37. That's probably a race ender for him. Everybody down back pit side once again here. Tyler Helms leads the whole field for some more pit stops.
As we approach the, obviously we're past, we're in the final half of this race. It's our longest green flag run we've had of the night, kind of our only green flag run we've had of the night. I'd like to see more of that. So it was, cool to see the different lanes come into play and these drivers racing up front for the lead. We got to see some tire fall off and how these drivers, worked around it, and kind of unfortunate to see that yellow come out.
Well, I'll say this. With all the cautions coming out, we only have 18 drivers now. No, 17 drivers on the lead lap, including the 19. Well, I thought he was going to get the wave here, but no, he's going to come down pit road here. So now that drops it back down to 16 cars on the lead lap. Last of that will be the number 39 you see on your screen here, Kai Collymore. So as the race goes on, drivers are starting to drop out. We came here with 32. We're down to 16 on the lead lap. So that's half the field now who has been able to stay on the lead lap here with about, what, two-thirds of the way done here. So, I mean, I think some green flag racing is on the horizon here as drivers continue to drop out.
I don't know. It's, we got two drivers staying out, Patricia Cusado and Kevin Belcher.
Now, 21
Um,
lap old tires at that, so
I think we're obviously they're not going to be able to keep up with these guys because those 21 laps were nearly green all the way. It's going to be hard for these two trucks to even stay up front or close on speed with these other trucks.
yeah, if I'm these drivers with the quicker tires now, you just try to be patient, right? You want these drivers who took tires right now need it to go green, right? We're going back to green here with what? 63 to go, I believe. No, not 63, 33 to go, right? If they can go green here, they should be able to make it on fuel. They needed to go green here, these guys up front. So be patient with these drivers with the old tires. This Patricia already sliding the tires. Everybody, both of the drivers sliding the tires on the start there. They just need to get out of the way. Yeah.
That
81, slow on track here. Regardless, Tyler Helms survives to take the race lead. You see kind of your front guys up front. You see Patricia up at the outside wall there, trying to hold on.
the driver who kind of got the worst of that was our pole sitter, Carmelo Caveira. Started in 7th, and he, lost a lot of track time checking up for that, and he's way in the back now. He's still position-wise in the top 10, but at least a few seconds back from a race leader.
And there is a huge difference between being 10th on track and actually being in the fight here for the race lead here. Now you saw right there, quite a ways far back here. It looks like about a second and a half behind the race leader here. So, but once again, we started to see a little bit of a breakaway here. Kyle Hoff, no, it's going to be Chase George, kind of rounding out this, 6-car pack here, and then we'll go back to Cal Hoff here, and this is where that plunger was with the slower cars here, who kind of stacked these guys up further on back.
Side by side for our race lead, Jason Hall looking to the inside of the 15 machine, but the 15 machine obviously has to run off the exit. We're ripping the top with Trenton behind him, but Brady Schreckengast, started in 17th. He's up here in that Ram machine now, side by side for 3rd. He's trying to get up to the race lead.
Remember, we saw him with a huge slide that last green flag run. Had to back it down, and look at him up inside the top 5, looking for 3rd, looking for potentially 2nd. They're 3 wide almost for the race lead.
Yeah, Tyler Helms once again leading this lap. The top lane is just so much momentum on the exit of the corners. It's just hard to play against that. Jason Hall, you see, trying everything he can to the point where that truck is sideways in the corner and on exit, and just not able to stay close to that outside lane on exit. As Trenton Wilkin actually goes into the wall, as they're now going to be 3 wide for 2nd here in the middle of the corner. Now coming out of turn 4, they're still 3 wide with Brady in the middle.
Good job by Brady. You saw that the 71 was kind of pinching them up, and he said, no, I'm going to kind of keep you down there because I'm not about to get us all wrecked here.
Slide.
Yeah, it's Brady with a huge slide. 71 has to check up, though, but I think
Tyler Helms also took a bit of a slide there as well.
Yeah, Tyler Helms, I was about to say, he was kind of forced to that top side. I don't think he's ran it all race long. And you saw him, he was struggling on the top side with that truck. You haven't seen, him be able to run it up there like you've seen the 17, like you've seen the 77 of Joey Beck, right? He's kind of been on the bottom this whole race, but now he's trying to play a little bit of defense, running half a seam up the track from where he usually runs, trying to keep this race lead.
Yeah, Trenton Wilkin, he's been sitting in 2nd. He was sitting in 2nd a lot. Last run also wasn't making the move. He's kind of staying in that 2nd position, maybe trying to save his tires just to, doesn't want to make the move just yet. Wants to make it at the right time. Maybe these two front drivers are possibly working together. I'm not quite sure, but obviously, he's had the opportunity to make the move. The pass for the lead just hasn't gone for it in this run or the last run.
As you see everybody upset there out of turn 2 again, the 17 and the 16. That's going to allow the 71. Jason Hall to clear for P3. Here comes the 60 of Acavera. We talked about
Echeverria,
him.
he was a
Having an
second and a
issue.
half back just a
Yeah.
handful of laps ago.
Now
Now he's up here battling for third.
He's going to bring the 63 Kalhoff with him as Kalhoff bumping to the back of the 60.
That's going to send him to the back again.
He's
not out of it, but
I don't think Henry meant to do that. I think he was just trying to
slide by Jason Hall.
Jason Hall, yeah, everybody's sliding around. I think Henry was trying to be like give a gentle shove to keep them going, and he just unfortunately just upset the 60 right there. I don't think that was done deliberate by the 63, but you see him now 3 wide bottom, going to try to take away the P3 spot, but still 3 wide. Shrek lost contact with the 71.
Keeps it straight. They're still looking 3 wide, entering turn 1 and 2, but Henry Collins going to get clear from the middle. Is he going to slide up? He is, and he's going to be side by side now for third.
Kalhoff trying to use that bottom, but the top with the momentum. Still going to be side by side with the 71, but the 16 still in tow on that top side.
Yeah, Brady, he's quick, but his truck is just out of control. He's getting loose. Just has not been able to keep that truck straight, and I think he's losing a lot of time, you know, fighting against that. And obviously, I think his tires are taking a toll of it. Also, as you know, he's up there for third now. He's falling back to fifth, battling for fifth now. Just doesn't have the top side momentum that the 71 machine does of Jason Hall.
Henry gets clear for P3, and the leaders are still kind of duking it out there for the race lead. Not enough to look at it now, as we still have a battle side by side for P4. The 71 losing these two. I feel like the 71 and the 16 are the two guys using their step up a little bit too much. Almost, you're starting to see them slide around a lot more quickly than the drivers around them.
I'm also curious on Carmelo. Obviously, he's had to make his way up to the front of the field, not once, but now attempting to do it twice on the same set of tires this run, and he's been able to catch back up. But you know, obviously, I think he's been having to drive it a little bit harder than some of these other guys. But that truck looks to be straight, almost contact with Jason Hall, and he's going to be able to possibly clear. Oh, Jason Hall into the outside wall. His truck keeps it straight. No one else involved. I'm curious if we're going to stay green.
Yeah, he's going to get it off the track.
To the apron.
That's really selfless for the 71, and I'll give him a round of applause there, because he could have just parked it on track and got himself a yellow, but he pulls it off. Wants to see this race go green. Really cool stuff out of 71. Obviously, his race is over, but really cool to see someone, you know, try to be proactive to try to keep this race going green. Now we see Kalhoff up inside the top 3. He's starting to run down to 2 race leaders.
He wants to get up to that lead. As I've noticed, as Tyler Holmes has kind of gotten away from the inside lane, he's now shifting up a little bit higher, running that second lane right on that seam, at least in 1 and 2. As he's kind of also running the same line in 3 and 4, and that's kind of going to upset the 17 machine on entry as he slides a little bit. Actually, that's actually a really good line by Tyler Holmes, kind of trying to control both lanes and kind of get the trucks behind him out of sorts of it.
Yeah, and you see him, I think he jumped up to this middle line because the 17 has been running the top, right? And it allows him to get a little upset on the exit, trying to take away that air. And he's been a good job defending. Tyler's one of the best defenders, honestly, and no glaze. One of the best defenders I've ever seen on HVTV. He's always good at putting his car in a good spot here to keep the lead here. He's such a good leader, but he's also knows where to put the car, right? To keep the lead.
Yeah, Henry Kulloff has just been stuck in that third position. You know, been running that inside line, just can't pass the 17 machine on ripping the outside lane, and Carmelo's also been kind of stuck back there in fourth with Joey Beck all over behind. Actually, that's not Joey Beck. That's a lap. That's a lap car. My bad. Of Jose, who's 1 lap down in 19th. So Joey Beck's behind him. I was a bit mixed up there, thinking they were battling for position.
Now, obviously, Jose was up here towards the front, so it's not hard to mistake him for a lead lap car because he was up here. I mean, he qualified second, right? Just unfortunately has gotten caught up in some messes and further back here than what we expected him to be. But I mean, you saw him get around the 60 of Echeverria. I mean, he's in.
Trent Wilkin into the outside wall.
Wilkins up at the outside wall. That might allow Kalhoff to potentially get a run here. But honestly, I'm going back to 19. He has a huge possibility to unlap himself the hard way here if he wants to do that. 16 laps to do it. He'll need a caution, but I mean I mean that 19 still has some pace. Obviously, too little, too late. It looks like to
Big
you know
slap
get
by
a
the
good
17
finish.
as well.
But he's looking quick. He's catching a race leader.
Yeah, it's kind of a big what if, you know, him on the lead lap. I believe this last restart started towards the rear end of the in the field, and
Oh,
he's
he.
just working his way up through the field.
Oh yeah, because he was a lap car, he had to start tailing the longest line, and he's driven up the P4 in position right here. Looking at Kalhoff, looking at the 17 of Wilkins here, as I think he's almost a little bit aero grief in the 17 here. I mean, if I'm these guys, just let him go. See if he can battle with the leader a little bit. Let them, you know, catch back up, right? If I'm the 17, if I'm the 63, this guy's a lap car. This is not for position. Let him go.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, obviously the 17 was able to get some distance now. He has a car in between him and Henry. Trenton actually now moving to the inside for the first time of this race. Tyler Holmes still on the outside. But the 17 trying to find something different. Just, you know, obviously no one has really been able to find any pace to catch back up to Tyler Holmes, and I think Tyler Holmes is doing exactly what he needs to do. You know, he's ripping that inside and trying to keep that distance, you know, the same as far apart as he possibly can. And you know, if the 17 does end up getting back up to him, I think what Tyler needs to do is honestly just focus on protecting that outside lane. You cannot let another driver get to your outside lane, because the outside lane just has so much momentum on the exit. You know, the 17 of Trenton could technically pull a slider, but I'm not sure if it would really work. It might just slow down both of them and let the third place car of Henry Kalhoff or now possibly Carmelo, as they're side by side for third, get up to them.
Yeah, and Tyler's doing a good job by just running the top. He's just keeping the momentum up, and that's what you need to do to keep the guys fighting, right? If you have good momentum on every exit of the corner, it forces the drivers behind to try to find something else, right? To find a different lane, to maybe approach the entry a little bit different, to try to gain some speed. There's a caution on track. That's the 10 around backwards on the backstretch. Patricia.
As we were seeing strategy come to play, that is a bit disappointing. I know Tyler Helms is obviously disappointed, because he was obviously the truck to beat that run, and I think he wanted to stay that green because he obviously really good in the long run, and not what he wanted to see at all. And I don't know what.
You know, at this point, just lock it down, right?
Yeah, I don't know why we're still fighting the car, and then
stopping in the middle
you
of the
have
track
time
here.
to pull off on the apron. I feel like I don't know.
Definitely frustrating to see when that could have been easily avoided, and obviously it's gonna force everybody down pit road, and it's just gonna be a 8 lap dash to the finish. It's just gonna be whoever can get the most out of their truck. The strategy's gone for tires, and who was saving, who was burning, who could push, who could hold on. But we'll come back down pit road probably for the last time, I would say, as everybody's missing their box.
That
could change up a lot right there. Literally, if third place Henry Kalhoff just made his box, he could potentially steal the lead away here. I mean, look
Joey
at the 77, Joey Beck. Yeah,
he's gonna do it. Joey Beck is gonna win the race off pit road. He is gonna lead us to the green flag for these final 10 laps, and Carmelo's gonna steal that third position, that Ram truck.
Look at the 87, Kylan Wilson. Just had a good stop. He's gonna take P4 away.
Big mistake by our top guys. I mean, Tyler Helms, now he's going to be stuck on that top side for this restart, and obviously the bottom lane has just been so strong. That's the lane to be in for these restarts, as they're just able to get going, you know, way better obviously as a control car. But we saw Tyler Helms do it once. He restarted on the top earlier this race and was able to time it well and stay side by side, but it's definitely hard to do. And it's Yeah, I mean, this is just Tyler Holmes is in a harder position now than what he was in before. It's obviously going to be very tricky for that 15 machine. Not what he obviously the yellow was one thing. Obviously did not want that yellow. Now obviously didn't win the race off pit road. That's going to affect him.
Yeah, someone who's affected is that 17 on Wilkins. He's back to P9 after that. Sitting in second, drops outside the top 5, almost outside the top 10 for that 17 machine. He's going to be having to hunt for these last 8 laps here to try to get that track position back. But going back to Joey Beck, he's probably the most dangerous guy up here, right? I feel like if anybody can use his stuff up and keep that truck out there, it's Joey, right? I mean, you saw him. He knows how to yaw it out and get the most out of it. I mean, if anybody can go toe-to-toe with Tyler Helms in this type of style of track, it's probably that 77. So I'm interested to see, can Joey hold on, potentially steal it here from Atlanta?
Toyota Chevy front row. Joey Beck in his first start of the season going to try to get his first win. Last season's champion on his outside and another strong truck behind him of Carmelo. But we are back green here with less than 10 laps to go. Joey Beck still side by side with Tyler Helms as he times the restart grading. They're going to be side by side through 1 and 2, and it's going to be hard to keep that 15 from getting clear out of turn 2 with that run on the top side. We'll see where Carmelo goes, whether he decides to help Tyler or Joey, as Joey actually slides, and that's going to allow Tyler to get clear. And Joey's going to slide up in front of that 60 machine, and they're looking 3 wide now back there for third with the 87 slide into the inside.
Kylan Wilson, that 87 machine, trying to take the move for P3. Gonna slide back.
Joey Beck.
It's Joey Beck
with Carmelo into the outside wall. Carmelo comes down the track. Involves multiple other trucks. As one truck nearly up and over, flies through the air.
Jacob Bryant up and over here in the front stretch.
Huge hit for Jacob Bryant. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Nearly fully went over. But all 4 off the ground.
Looking at this 97 here.
It's just a weird, weird way to get launched up in the air.
I mean, you're going pretty quick here, and you think about that. He got hit in the back here after he was backwards, right? So that truck wanted to definitely take flight there, but luckily was able to keep it on all 4s there. Granted, all tore up, but definitely all 4 tires off the ground there. Caution will leave one more time. We knew this was going to happen. Aggressiveness is going to pick up. And we saw Joey Beck. And I feel bad for Carmelo right there. Wrong place, wrong time. Joey, and he's gone. End of the race for the 60 machine. That's terrible to hear. Oh, no, I think he just blinked. But still, I think that's probably race-ending damage for the 60. Now, he's really trying to confirm if he can come back out or not. And that's probably race-ending. I mean, I don't even see that right front connected very well anymore. So Joey Beck and Carmelo Cabrera, too, you're probably contenders out early here with 5 to go.
Well, it's going to be interesting. They say cautions breed cautions, and Patricia might have started something.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, right? We were going to take the 10 to go here, and then obviously that caution comes out. Now it kind of just rewires everybody back. Like, okay, we got to go as hard as we can. There's no saving. There's no nothing. It's take. And we saw, the 77 get upset there, trying to take too much out of the truck, and unfortunately grabs the 60 and a plethora of other trucks with him.
It's going to be interesting. Tyler Helms, so back up to the lead. He will be the control car. And the driver who led us to the green flag, Joey Beck's back there in third now.
Yeah, Joey Beck somehow with minimal damage on that 77 machine. Somehow keeps a podium spot for now here. As this should be a natural three to go here. Not a green white checkered, but a 3 lap dash here from Atlanta. So one more caution. We'll be going into some NASCAR overtime here for week number 7 here of the Ascendant Motors Prospect Truck Series. Man, what a chaotic race we've had tonight.
Chaotic indeed. But we've, had some good green flag runs. I wish we had a bit more. But, obviously I hope we go green here.
Obviously a 3-lap dash. I feel like we're down now to 11 trucks on a lead lap right after that. So it's going to be 11 trucks trying to fight for, the win here. I would hope with 11 trucks we can make it happen. We'll just have to see, though. It's going to be Tyler Helms. He picks the top side. For this restart, it's going to be Tyler Helms, Henry Kalhoff, 2 Chevy Silverados going back into the restart zone as we go 3 laps to go here from Atlanta.
Tyler Holmes, the control car, looking to try to get clear from the 63 machine entering 1, but he's not going to be able to do so. So they're going to be side by side in 1 and 2. Where's Joey Beck looking? He's looking right behind Tyler Helms. He wants to get past Henry Kalhoff here out of turn 2.
They're going to still stay side by side out of turn 2. Helms will have help from the top side of that little arrow push from the 77. Let's try to get up clear. It's going to be close, but not enough. Here comes Kalhoff to the bottom. Here comes Joey Beck, top of 3 here. He's upset again. He's going to lose a bunch of track position there, trying to hold on to it. So we get 2 to go, side by side for the race lead. Kalhoff to the bottom.
With all this going on, look who's in third, DJ Lyon. We saw him up front earlier on. He's now trying to battle for this race win as they're still side by side for the race lead with Henry on the inside.
Ooh, Henry a little bit upset there. He's going to get that 15 will clear out of turn 2. Now we're looking almost 3 wide for P2. Henry Kalhoff with the huge send. And now contact from the 87. Contact. The 80. It's DJ's going to save it.
And we're going to take the white flag. Tyler Helms, a race leader. Second in points with our leader in points right behind him, Henry Kalhoff.
Kalhoff to the top. You saw him get a little upset there. Will he have a run out of turn 2, though?
We talked about it. He is leading the point standings, but he does not have a win this season. We know he wants it. What will he do entering turn 3? Henry Kalhoff versus Tyler Helms. Tyler Helms goes to protect the inside, and Henry will not be able to do anything. Coming out of turn 4 for the final time, Tyler Helms is going to steal it and win it here at Atlanta tonight. 3rd victory of the season for the 15 machine.
What an effort by the 63 Kalhoff to get back to him, but too little, too late there. I think maybe Henry had a little bit of a better car, but we saw Tyler, once again, another defense masterclass here in these trucks. He gets his 3rd win of the season, and what a way to do it. Photo finish there for the line. He gets his 3rd win.
Joey Beck maybe a little bit angry with the 15 machine. Obviously was up there in 3rd, and I don't know, it kind of just looked like he got loose by himself. I'm not kind of unsure why he's a bit mad at the 15. Obviously, they're going for the win. There was no contact involved. Maybe just wasn't left enough room, but obviously our race winner, Tyler Helms, I don't believe he's full time. He's ran 4 of the 5 races this season, and he's won 3 of them. And this might extend him to the points lead after tonight's race. Obviously, a 5-point gap between him and Henry.
It'll all come down to really how much points does the winner get over P2, right? So I think it should be enough to get him over the bridge here.
I believe Tyler led the most laps of the race, though. So that will be more points for him.
We'll take a look at this. 45 of 101. That's just over half. As we see Tyler Helms on the moonwalking down the backstretch here. I've never seen this kind of celebration.
There's drivers that have their own celebration, and obviously we've seen some Polish victory laps before. Talladega, we saw Carson hanging out the window in real life, and Tyler Helms over here doing the moonwalk.
Well, congratulations to the 15, 3rd win of the season, and a photo finish here at Atlanta, just over Henry Kalhoff. Kylan Wilson in the 87 will take your top 3 here. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and before we do that, obviously Gavin has to step away from the HVTV booth once again, so we thank him for being up here calling the race. definitely a chaotic race, but also a fun finish to call there. But once again, I appreciate Gavin for coming up here and showing his efforts up here in the HPTV booth.
Thank you. No, thanks for having me. Always a blast, and these drivers put on a heck of a show tonight. I'm glad we got to have some green flag racing, and huge props to Tyler for getting it done once again here tonight. And Henry, so close once again. I know you have a win coming. I know it. Um, know it hurts getting second. But you got a win coming. Henry got one coming.
We'll say goodbye to Gavin Austin. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and we'll get ready to start your post-race show here from Atlanta. Talk to your top 3 finishers, and look at your unofficial race results, and wrap up tonight's stream from Atlanta. But we'll be right back on the other side of this ad break. So welcome everybody back to the post-race show here for the UIS Senate Motors Prospect Truck Series here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. We saw what a finish there. Tyler Helms hold on to get his 3rd win of the season here. Let's go ahead and talk to your race winner for tonight's race here from Atlanta. Tyler Helms, Christian up here in the booth, got a copy?
Oh, I can't hear.
Tyler, it's Christian up here in the booth, you got a copy? You see some, sounds like Tyler's having some issues with his headset, so we will,
Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties with my headset.
yeah, we got you. We'll wait on Tyler to get his stuff figured out, but regardless, look at this. 45 of the 101 laps led tonight for Tyler. Fantastic finish. Nonetheless, here, we'll pull up your unofficial scrolling results up here at the top while we wait on Tyler to get ready to go. All right, Tyler, it's Chris up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, obviously, win number 3 here for the Senate Motors Prospect Truck Series, and, led 45 of the 101 laps here tonight. You got the lead, and you really didn't want to give it up. Pretty selfish. You wanted the lead a lot of the laps tonight, but walk us through your night. Walk us through the chaotic night here from Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, we had a terrible qualifying performance. Should have been, a lot better than what we had. So we had to start, mid-pack, and we were struggling to get through the field at first, and we figured out how to actually pass people. And then whenever, we just had a bunch of wrecks, and everybody sucked on restarts compared to me. So ended up getting through the field and got the lead at one point, pitted, drove back through the field. And then we just kind of wanted to stay up front end of that race or whatever. And we realized when we were running with Trenton, when I was around the bottom and he was around that middle or top lane, that the tire wear was pretty even. Like, we had the exact same tire wear, and I was on the bottom, he was on the top. And I'm like, okay, well, that means I can just run the middle then. So that last run, I was running the middle the whole time. Or I guess it wasn't the last run, but the long run we had, I was running the middle the whole time. And then we were getting a few laps away from I actually can pull away from everybody else. I started to get like a 4/10 lead. I felt like we had the race won, and then of course, classic had to have a yellow at the end of the race, and then came down for tires and got a good launch compared to Joey. Got around him easily off of the first corner, and then of course had to have another yellow. And I knew that he was my biggest threat, so I was not going to line up in front of him. So I lined up in front of whoever I lined up in front of, and I think it was Colin Wilson. And we got a pretty solid launch. Henry had a great launch as well, and I knew if I just pinched him down, eventually he would have to give. And then I think Joey, when he tried to make it 3 wide, coming to 2 to go, he got a little bit tight and washed up. And I knew the race was over between me and him, and it's just on to me and Henry at that point. And it just pinched Henry down. Eventually, was able to clear him, and it was pretty much over from there. So we lead the most laps back to back weeks in this series, back to back weeks in Cup as well. But we were able to get the win here today. So we'll definitely take another win, and Duck Motorsports still undefeated. Zach's got 3, I got 3, so it's a great start to the season.
I can't say it better myself. Duck Motorsports just looking phenomenal tonight and throughout the first 6 or 7 races here in the season. But another win for you, another dominating win for you in this 15 team. So we congratulate you on that. But before we let you go, Tyler, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, or shout out for tonight's win from Atlanta?
Yeah, I got to shout out obviously my teammate Zachary Trevino. Sucks he wasn't here tonight, but still able to get the victory. Team owner Kobe Duckworth, did it for Lincoln. And then my teammate, my affiliated team Sky Racing, Chase George and Nicholas Martinez Jr. for coming in and spotting for me those last few laps. Trent Wilkin and Carmelo, we were all worked together really well tonight. And got to thank Precision Speed Solutions, for being on the car and giving me my setups every week. So we'll take another win. Led basically half the race, and hopefully we can keep the momentum up into Darlington. Hopefully Zach can win it because there's about a 0% chance I can go win that next week. So hopefully we can keep the momentum up as a team and extend our points lead.
We'll have to just see going into next week. But once again, we appreciate your time up here in HVTV booth, Tyler, and we'll let you celebrate with with everybody down below, and can't wait to talk to you potentially next week up in Victory Lane.
Yep, thank you.
Tyler Holmes comes home victorious once again here from Atlanta, his 3rd win of the season. Go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher tonight, Henry Kalhoff. Another solid finish for him in this whole 63 team. Let's go ahead and talk to him up here in the HVTV booth. Hey, Henry, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, a P2 finish for you. Almost got to the back to Tyler Holmes there to potentially make it a little bit of a closer race for the win there, but still, coming home only 8 100ths behind that number 15 machine. A good run for you. You were up inside really the top 5-ish conversation the whole race tonight. Coming home P2. Walk us through your night.
Well, long run we were kind of dog shit, but the short runs and the cautions helped us out there, and tried some different strategy early on, which proved didn't work. So it is what it is. I need to find a crew chief on Craigslist, and congratulations to Tyler Helms on the win.
Obviously, we only had about 1, maybe 1.5 long runs tonight. Everything else was kind of, shorter, but due to, the chaos of Atlanta tonight, how ill handling the trucks were. Walk us through how difficult it was to, manhandle these things around the track tonight.
Well, with other cars, I've raced here a lot with the Xfinity car, and it's typically pretty tight, but with the trucks, it's polar opposite. It was like sliding the rears a lot, and especially during practice, but in the race, it got a lot better. And the main thing was just kind of the dirty air. If you were leading, I would say you would have a pretty good shot of winning at that point. But so I guess practice and the race itself were completely different. I thought it was going to be really loose and everybody would be sliding around, which did happen. I mean, especially on the restarts, or I don't know if they showed it, but I mean, I passed like 3 trucks in the grass when I can't remember who it was. Somebody spun the tires, and then 2 other trucks spun their tires behind them. So, but overall, it was a very interesting race, though.
Very interesting is a way to put it. Henry, and obviously looking at you and the points, obviously leading the points coming into Atlanta, only a 5 point cushion back to Tyler. I don't know if Tyler's going to retake the points lead, but still a really good battle between you and the number 15 machine here. After Atlanta, we go into, I believe, Darlington next week. What's the outlook going into next week, trying to keep this points lead with the 63 machine?
Well, it's just gonna be kind of a race by race deal. If we're still in contention to win the championship, we're gonna keep running. But if there's a point where I'm not in championship contention, I'm gonna bow out and do other obligations. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I'm looking forward to Darlington. Gonna run a throwback to my sponsor, John Garrett, owns Forest Green Printing. Want to thank him. He's been a huge supporter of my truck series bid, along with my sim racing career. So I got to thank him, and I also thank my parents, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and everybody on the Calvite Trace. So hopefully Darlington can go well. Probably aim for like a top 15 most likely. So we'll see how that goes.
It's going to be interesting to see what this whole 63 team can do in the next week. But we thank you for your time, Henry, up here in the booth, and we wish you good luck next week from Darlington.
Yep, thanks so much.
Henry Kalhoff comes home P2, and we'll talk to your 87 machine of Kylan Wilson. He brings home the rest of the podium finishers tonight. A really good recovery from him. We see him, he qualified back there in P11 up to the P3 spot. Kylan Wilson, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, obviously, a very chaotic race for you and this whole 87 team, but started back there outside the top 10. But we're able to drive your way through the field there, that last couple of run or two. Walk us through your race tonight. Walk us what got you up here inside this last podium spot.
I feel good.
Well, obviously, you drove yourself kind of towards the front of the field tonight. What was it like? Obviously, we've seen you towards the back. We saw you towards the front, getting caught up in a couple incidents. Obviously, low of 22nd, but obviously higher third where you finished tonight. What was it like just having to get through the field tonight with how sketchy these trucks were driving?
It's like there was no in between. On the bottom, it was very loose, but on the top, it was pretty tight. And also had to watch out for the majority of the field.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of drivers having issues with the handling, especially out of the corners, and especially in the tri-oval where, the real estate kind of narrows up there. Walk us through. Obviously, you once again having to drive through some of these wrecks. What is the kind of the mindset you have to have when you see kind of the big one in front of you?
Slow down, get to the bottom of the track.
Obviously, a good mindset to have there, and obviously you did a good job at doing that. Obviously, got caught up in a couple incidents, but not enough to really interfere with the handling of that truck there. But that last kind of 3-lap dash, we saw you outside of the top 6 there, driving your way through the front there to get that P3 position. What did it take to get around those last couple of guys to get yourself into the podium spot?
Just sending it and getting past the 77.
Obviously, yeah, we saw the 77. He showed a lot of pace tonight, but unfortunately, handling started to go away for Joey back there. He finished his P8, but obviously going back to you, finishing P3, I believe your first podium of the season here in the Ascendant Motors Truck Series. So first of all, congratulations to you, Kylan, on that, and yeah, looking forward to see what you can do next week from Darlington. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for tonight's run from Atlanta?
Nah.
Well, we appreciate your time up here in the HVTV booth, and we wish you and this 87 team good luck for Darlington as another kind of tire wear-oriented track. We'll see what you can do next week from Darlington. Kylan Wilson comes home P3, and obviously I think that is his first podium of the season. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but good job for the 87 team to get that truck out there and put himself in a position to get into a podium spot here at the end here. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results here for tonight's race here from Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tyler Holmes, Henry Kalhoff, Kylan Wilson, your top 3. We just talked to them up here in the HVTV booth. Chase George comes home with the P4 finish. We talked about how much he wanted to win tonight, how much he showed some pace tonight. He finished his P4 after some of those drivers scrapping it out there further back behind the top 2 finishers. You see Jose Lopez. he was, a lap down with 10 to go. He was able to get the lucky dog. He drove up the P5 there with those fresh Goodyear tires. Calvin Harvey in the 98, he gets a P6 finish for himself. Joseph Enright, P7 after getting caught up in some incidents. That's a good recovery for him. Joey Beck, remember, he started on the front row, falls back to P8 there at the end of the race there. DJ Lyon got caught up in some incidents there. He finishes P9. Carter McMillan rounds out your top 10. Looking further back here, Jacob Bryant, the last driver to finish on the lead lap there, in that number 97 machine, he finishes P11. Everybody else laps down. Kevin Belcher, Kai Collymore, 1 lap down back there in 12th and 13th. You'll see Brady Schreckengoss 2 laps down back there in 14th. Kenny Hilaire, 15th. 3 laps down. Carmelo Echeverria, we saw him get caught up with the 77. He finishes the race 5 laps down in P16. Trent Wilkins out early back there in 17th. Patricia Casado, she causes actually the green white checkered finish there. Back there in P18 after Patricia self spins out of the turn 2. Riley Ibanez and Jason Hall run out your top 20. Back here outside the top 20, Aaron Cobnott, Wyatt Youngblood, Jared Spaniel, Chase Smell, Travis Prather, Max Ford, Kenny Laura, Gavin Smith, Colby Duckworth, and Curate run out your top 30. And running out the rest of the field tonight, Kendorian Davis, George Kirifides, and Christian Zurati back there in 33rd. But obviously a very chaotic night, a very interesting night here from the virtual Orlando Motor Speedway as we look forward into Darlington for next week as they go to South Carolina to tackle the Lady in Black. And it's going to be a very interesting, another pretty difficult track for a lot of these drivers in these virtual Craftsman Truck Series machines as we'll look forward into Darlington. But looking forward into the future, next Friday. This Friday, we'll wrap up the season 20 of the AWC Pro Series from Las Vegas as Wyatt Roberts tries to hold on to the championship lead as he still technically needs to hold on as the number 53 of Bryce Bird still is within striking range if they get enough numbers there for the season finale. As Wyatt Roberts tries to hold on to get his first championship in the AWC Pro Series. And then Saturday, we'll be back here on HVTV to broadcast the ISNF Cup Series for their penultimate race from the Nashville Super Speedway. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do there as Thomas Flynn tries to hold on to that points lead, a 56-point lead, I believe, for Thomas going into Nashville. So it's going to be interesting to see, can Justin Johnson have a big race and peel back the points there on that 24 machine, or can Thomas Flynn hold on for these last couple races to get his first championship in the ISNF Cup Series? And then we'll be right back around the corner here for the UIS Send It Motors Prospect Truck Series once again here from Darlington Raceway next week here on High Velocity TV. But once again, another congratulations to Tyler Helms and that whole 15 team. The 3rd win of the season and 5 for 5. 6 for 6 for Duck Motorsports. So they're on a roll tonight with that whole team. But we once again congratulate Tyler Helms. Another win on the season as we look forward into Darlington. But once again, my name is Christian Delgado. Gavin Austin up here alongside the booth here for our live coverage tonight here from Atlanta. And we wish everybody a good Monday night and a good rest of the week going into to the weekend, as some kids, especially on the West Coast, finishing out their final weeks here at school. We wish everybody good luck on finals and projects, and enjoy the summer break whenever that comes. So once again, we hope everybody has a great rest of their Monday night, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.